Dude, what's up YouTube? Today we got a lot of news. I did not expect this amount of information to come through after the countdown on the website went all the way down to 0. We got so much. I was anticipating a trailer, 5 screenshots, and maybe some blurbs and like a release date and maybe a date where we find out more or something. But we made a list on stream today of everything that we know, and we're going to try and put it together in a clear, concise video for you guys to digest easily. The embargo seemed to have a bunch of information, and every website that obeyed it just only had bits and piecemeals of everything, so we compiled it all into a single list. So here we go. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, what we know. Release date, July 10th, 2025, says Steam, but it might be July 11th. Maybe it's a time zone thing, I don't know, but it's going to be on Steam, Xbox, PS5, Switch, Battle.net, and the Microsoft Store. Pre-purchasing it now gets you access to the full game 3 days early, but that's only if you get the digital deluxe edition. Access to the Foundry demo in June, and that date is to be announced. It'll also include another level in it, which remains to be announced. The demo will not be available on Nintendo Switch. The Foundry demo will also feature 2 playable skaters. You'll also get the wireframe Tony shader and a select few songs from the soundtrack. So that brings us to our next point. You can buy the game for $49.99 on Steam. That's the standard edition, or you can get the deluxe edition for $69.99. So if you get the deluxe edition, the main thing that you're getting is the Doomslayer, featuring a standard and retro outfit plus 2 unique special tricks and the Unimiker hoverboard. And you also get the Revenant as another skater. Get evil with the Revenant, including 2 unique special tricks. My whole take on secret skaters and new skaters in general is that you get 3 new special tricks per skater, generally speaking. Sometimes they end up sharing special moves, but when you get a new skater, that just means new special tricks to equip to whatever skater or creative skater you want. So that's a win for me. We just gotta hope that these paid to acquire skaters don't have the best, highest scoring special tricks, because if you want to go for scores, you're basically paying to win in that sense. So I mean, this is the kind of day and age we live in. I'm going to pay for the digital deluxe edition. So yeah, I don't know. We're kind of in a weird spot with that, because in Tony Hawk 3 PC and just any version of Tony Hawk 3, you just play and unlock the skaters. You never bought anything to get extra skaters. So it's just a sign of the times. I'm not happy about it, but that's just where we are. And also for $129.99, you could buy Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 Collector's Edition. It comes with a limited edition full-size birdhouse skateboard deck, and it looks like you'll be able to get it for PS5, Xbox Series XS, and Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. So the skater list, everyone from the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. The only 2 pros that are missing from the list that we saw are Bam Margera and Mike Vallely. Maybe they'll be announced later. Who knows? But right now, there's no mention of them anywhere. So the new skaters we're getting, you're going to have to forgive my pronunciation. I'm going to butcher these. Reza Leal, Chloe Cavell, Jamie Foy, Zion Wright, and Yuto Horigame. Guy who won the Olympics. He rips. A prediction I had was I really thought Andy Anderson was a shoo-in for this game. You guys know me, I'm not really going to lose any sleep over who is or isn't in the game, but it feels like Andy Anderson belongs in this game, because when you watch him skate, you're like, this dude is like skating like he's in a video game, you know what I mean? So next up on our list is Create a Skater. We saw confirmation that it's making a return, and there's also mention of expanded Create a Skater. And the only details we have on that is that you can name your skater, hometown options, skate style, hair options, tattoo options, and makeup options. But that, I'm pretty sure all of those options were in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, so we'll just have to wait and see. Next on the list is Create a Park. It's making a return with the mention of a create a goal and ability to share those goals with friends. It's not totally clear that that create a goal is limited to just Create a Park, or if you'll be able to create goals throughout any of the levels and share those with friends too. But I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that you'll only be able to make goals in Create a Park and share those with those parks that you share with friends, just like in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Next up is a soundtrack. We just saw confirmation of the following tracks. There's 6 of them. It's Amoeba by The Adolescents, Ace of Spades by Motorhead, Mass Appeal by Gangstar, 96 Quite Bitter Beings by CKY, Not the Same by Body Jar, and Outta Here by KRS-One. We also saw confirmation of an in-game tutorial, ollie, kickflip, vert, grind, revert, manual, specials, etc. tutorial led by Tony Hawk. Probably similar to the one that we saw in THPS 1 and 2. So for levels, there's a direct quote that says, the parks from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 have been authentically remade in jaw-dropping 4K resolution with streamlined goals in a 2-minute format. The Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 levels would be Foundry, Canada, Rio, Suburbia, Airport, Skater Island, Los Angeles, Tokyo, and Cruise Ship. And then Tony 4 would be College, San Francisco, Alcatraz, Shipyard, Kona, London, Zoo, and then Chicago and Carnival. We haven't seen any footage or any screenshots of Shipyard, Kona, London, or Zoo, or Carnival, or Chicago. So my personal take is that if they're going to cut any level, it's going to be the ones that require the most work, which would probably be Carnival and Zoo. Carnival requires a bunch of moving objects with the skater to be able to skate on them. You guys remember all those rides, like the Gravitron and the little ride that goes like this, and then the teacups, and then there's the Zoo that has all those animals with unique assets, animations, rigs, sounds, and behaviors. I could see them just being like, why don't you guys just take this like other level or forget about the Zoo for now or something. And then there's confirmation of new levels. We saw that there's going to be 3. One of them is Water Park, that's on the cover, and there's a whole blog about it on their website. See that here. And then there's one that's called Pinball, which is on the back of the collector's edition box art. Okay, online modes. There's a mention of a hawk mode in the official page's frequently asked questions. I have no idea what that means. So we know online exists. You can go head to head in competitive game modes or skate every surface together in multiplayer free skate. You can now play with up to 8 players in cross-platform online multiplayer. So this is the first time we'll ever be able to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater cross-platform, which is very exciting. And I think it should address the issue of, are the servers down or is just nobody playing? Because there's been a mix of both. Mostly the servers have been down, but yeah, anyway. So the biggest misstep that I've seen in this whole thing, and I maybe overreacted on stream. I was super bummed to hear this, but here, let's just read. Drop into new parks or tear it up across timeless parks from both Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Authentically remade in jaw-dropping 4K resolution with streamlined goals and the epic 2-minute format. And this is extremely upsetting because the reason why Tony Hawk 4 was such a big deal is because it set itself apart from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3 by doing away with the 2-minute format. And you weren't limited to just 10 goals per level. You're able to skate around, talk to NPCs, and they give you a goal. And with that being said, they would give you goals that wouldn't necessarily fit in the 2-minute time frame, like sketching the professor's car around the level, doing a luge run around the level, nailing the tricks that they call out, doing 10 spine transfers on the floats in the college parade, doing the competitions in every level that required you to do well enough in 3 runs to earn a medal in them. So I kind of called this. I can just sort of see that it broke outside the formula, and in order to get a game shipped on time and to cut corners and save costs and save time and bandwidth, they're really just giving us 10 goals in 2 minutes in Tony Hawk 4 and calling it a day. I mean, we've seen skate letters, stat icons, cache icons, and decks in a screenshot as part of the revamped Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Tour. However, on another website, it says career mode that includes the original tours from both. Maybe it's hinting that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 won't be the 2-minute format, or that it will also have the 2-minute format. We don't know. They've been really iffy and inconsistent in their wording, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. We've also confirmed that single session and speedruns will return from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which is a given. It's super simple to include those, and it would be extremely weird to have a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game without single session, because they've been in every single one. It's how you set your scores and where you set them officially. Speedruns were an addition in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, where the timer starts from 0 and then it acts like a stopwatch, so you could see how long it takes you to do all 10 goals in one run. So I'm glad to see that's making a return, because that was really fun to get into. Another new thing is called New Game Plus. After completing career mode, the New Game Plus option gives you the chance to return to the tour with all the stat upgrades you acquired in your first playthrough, but expect more challenging goals and tougher tricks to land. So I'm guessing this is the middle ground that they found for what Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4's goal setup was like, and meeting it with the 2-minute goal format. Because if you look at how many goals were in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 levels, they ranged from 14 to 21. Maybe the way of getting every goal that they possibly could into each level is to make you replay them. So you do 10 goals per level, each level all the way through. And when you 100% it, you play through again, and it's the pro mode or the New Game Plus mode. Now you have 10 harder goals to play through each mode. So it's the hard skate, it's the hard combo, it's the higher score and the higher combo score. That's my best guess, but if you ask me, it's not a faithful remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and that makes me extremely disappointed because I've recently got into playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 Career over and over and over again, trying to improve my time on how long it takes me to beat the game, and going up and talking to people and getting a new mission and doing that whole dance is part of what made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. So maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe the new format is going to be sick, but I just am having a hard time accepting that. I think that the best thing that they could have done is to give us a remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 and then add to it. So that's my take. Maybe I'm dwelling on it too much. I'm sure it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Right? Mechanics. The only thing that we have confirmed so far as new mechanics go for the skater, which is the most important thing to me, because how are they messing with this sandbox? How are they messing with the skater that we use in every level? Is the baseline player mechanics that are very important to me. And in the Deluxe Edition trailer, we saw a brief hint of a spacewalk. And now I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but if you ask me, Spacewalk should not be in this game, because in Tony 3 and 2 and 4, if you found yourself in a combo and time's up and you're trying to beat your opponent and you accidentally hit a wall and lose all your momentum, game over. That should be the end of your combo. You might be able to bounce in place and get a few more tricks off, but now Spacewalk will be able to add some momentum so you can recover and keep going. And that was something that was introduced in Thug, and that should have been left in Thug. Whereas like hip transfers and spine transfers in Thips 1 and 2, I felt like added to it, and it was very intentional, and it's not like something that saved you. It was, you had to have the foresight for it, you know? I don't know. That's my personal take. If they keep it in, so be it, whatever. And that being said, there is a way to regain your momentum after you've already stopped. You just have to be really good to do it. There's a little bitty window when you land, allows you to manual after you've landed. So if you try to land, give it like half a second, let your skater roll forward because the game thinks you're in skate mode, but then manual again. So as you land, you manual and you have speed again. And then you can jump, do it again, and then you get more speed, and then you can recover. But that's so down in the weeds. Most people, I would say me and like 10 other people do that. So the next confirmed mechanic is skitching. Right away, first part of the trailer, we see Tony Hawk skitching on a car that looks like the professor's car, which is why I got so pumped that they were doing the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater career mode format, because the car was traveling in the trajectory that it does in the PS2 version, and it was similar to the one that was, you know, from 2001, 2002, whenever it was. Okay, I'm just gonna rattle off these brands that were confirmed. We saw evidence or mentions of Vans, Nike, SB, Globe, Etnies, Hawk Shoes, New Balance, America, Asics, Lakai. For clothing, we got Merge, Ford, Dickies, Brixton, and Stance. For boards, we got Shorties, Zero, Plan B, Birdhouse, Baker, Powell Peralta, City Stars, April, Flip, Disorder, and Death Wish. In other skate brands, we got Mob Grip, Shake Junt, Independent, Spitfire Wheels, Bones Wheels, and Grizzly Grip Tape. And some other mentions, we got Red Bull, Taco Bell, Depop, Nixon, and Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Taco Bell and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was not on my bingo card. And Taco Bell being in the airport in the trailer, getting a Taco Bell bong, was also not on my bingo card. Other things worth mentioning are NPCs are confirmed. You can see NPCs walking around. Number 2, we have new Level Geo in college. It's a sculpture by the stadium. You could see 4 velvet looking ropes around this weird shape of a sculpture that was in this like little empty space. You know, I'm all for adding Geo if it makes sense, but when I look at this, I'm like, this looks like it might just get in the way. These rails are really small and short, and they don't seem to point you in the correct direction. So I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. Another thing worth mentioning is there's sight of a parade float in the background of an image of someone grinding on one of the arches of the walls around it in college. And we're also seeing banners from the banner goal. So I'm wondering, can we do the parade goal in college? Like, does it queue only in this game plus mode? Which wouldn't make much sense because the parade's over in like a minute or something. And then the banners are also displayed at all times? Or is this only doing career mode? Or is this just like an oversight where they just left the banners in as aesthetics? And there's not even a goal centered around the banners. So a lot of question marks there. Also, if you look at it's either gameplay video or a screenshot. In San Francisco, there's a fountain in the plaza. They cut a hole through the base of it so you could skate through. It seems pretty harmless. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if it skates well or not. Canada is following PS2's Canada and not PlayStation 1's. I think it'd be a long shot to assume they would do PlayStation 1's because it'd be a longer road to up-resing that and making it look pretty for current generation. But part of me was hoping they would do PS2's version and then merge in the good parts of PS1 so you could have like the best of both worlds and then up-res that. But anyway, that's just wishful thinking. Age rating mentions mild violence and mild blood, unlike 1 and 2, which only mentioned lyrics. So that might insinuate that there's going to be a new bail system. They didn't show a single bail in any of the previews or B-roll gameplay footage or any of the screenshots. So maybe we're not going to get the rewind glitch thing that we know from 1 and 2, but that's just speculation. I have no idea. Okay, so the big questions. Okay, so that's give or take all the information that we know, or that I know so far after today. The big questions that I have. Number 1, are we getting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 career mode format? That's the biggest thing. And if we aren't, I really hope that it's good. If we are, I hope that it's good. But if we are, I would like hope they have something to follow, then we know that's good. Okay, this news just dropped as I was making this video. Let's go ahead and read. Kotaku was able to confirm with Activision that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 will not include the original career mode seen in the OG version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on PS2. Instead, like in the first 3 games, each Tony 4 level will feature a list of challenges to complete in a 2-minute run. This isn't how it worked in original Tony 4. That game let players skate around levels freely and find challenges to complete. While many of these challenges did have timers, between those challenges, players were free to skate around, explore, and collect money. The only thing they could do to save this is solid levels, solid mechanics, and online play. Anyway, let's move on. Number 2, do the female NPCs knock you over? Because those are like walking kills. Those are walking obstacles that move around and they'll knock you over mid-combo, and it's kind of annoying. So 3, environmental interactions. Are we going to be able to initiate the earthquake? Are we going to be able to turn on pro trick objects? Are we going to be able to define pre-earthquake or post-earthquake in an online mode? This is a whole other question, but how do these level events where they change level geo, how do these behave when you're playing online? Number 4, I'm saying this now. Vehicles were online in THPS 1 and 2, and I hated it. In all the other Tony Hawk games, they were off because getting the movement of these vehicles to sync throughout all the players, I think was too taxing. And so that's why they took them out, but it just worked better because now the vehicles weren't just running you over and knocking you over every step of the way. And same with the NPCs. But now with modern hardware, I can imagine a world where they leave the NPCs in that knock you over and they leave the cars in that knock you over online. And for someone like me who plays online 100% of the time, except for when I'm doing career, I just would love to see a world where I could turn off vehicles and NPCs or just have them off altogether. No one seemed to miss them back in the day ever. So I don't know, maybe I'm alone on that one, but I would want to know, am I going to get vanned online or am I going to get slapped online? But that all being said, maybe skitching cars online is going to be sick. Can 8 players skitch the same car? Is the start of every high scoring combo start off with skitching a car because you can get more speed and get way more air? I don't know if that's how we want to live our high scoring lives though, but I'm not too worried about that, but it's just interesting to think about. And number 5, which is arguably the biggest one, I am dying to know how the collision is going to behave in all these levels that Iron Galaxy is handling. I don't know if they've ever touched an extreme sports game level before, but all the walls with all these cuts and insets and indents and windowsills and pillars and banners and stuff, since the beginning of time, I've pushed for the collision to be ultra simple. It won't matter if the skater's wheels are hovering off the edge or if the wheels are clipping through the newspaper on the ground, or if you look here in Alcatraz, there's a ladder on the wall. wall? Is it going to break your wall ride? You know what I mean? Like, I just want them to be mindful of all these things that's going to be crucial to how these levels play, and things that you're not just going to bonk into, or things that are not going to break your wall ride, or places where you're going to try and ollie and you're going to hit your head under like a tree branch, or you know what I mean? Like, these are things we need to think about, and they're so crucial. So I'm just dying to know. And when the game ships, they're not going to be perfect, but I just want to know how close to perfect they're going to be, or how very far from perfect they're going to be. So we're just going to have to wait to see. Lastly, sixth, but certainly not the least, what are we doing with online mode? Can I play teams? Can I play 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2, or 2 versus 2, or 3 versus 3, or 4 versus 4? Do we have slap? Do we have king of the hill? Do we have tag? Do we have horse? Like, what are we doing with online? And most of all, is there going to be text chat or voice chat? Or is there going to be a server browser? Because that was the single biggest thing that was the downfall of THPS 1 and 2, was that you couldn't browse to see who was playing and join servers. Like, you would hit a button and it would autofill you into a match and you don't know who's playing. But in an update, we got private servers and we can invite people. But once you invite them in, you can't even communicate with them. You can't communicate with anyone. There's no relating. And that's the nature of gaming together online, is hanging out with people. And it's also the nature of skating together, is hanging out with people, getting to know them, challenging each other, relating to each other, making jokes, having laughs. And I'm getting passionate, sorry. But I just really hope they do a really good service to the online portion. But I know that the online community of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater has always been a very small portion of the audience. But the least we can hope for is a decent remake of single player. I would love for online play to just blow me out of the water, because all the THPS games seem to be lacking in that department. And I'm just hoping for the best. All in all, I think today was a huge day for Tony fans. We're eating so good right now. We haven't had any info in about 4.5 years, and I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked that this amount of information dropped today, and I'm actually shocked at how good it looks. Honestly, the biggest thing is that Tony4 Career thing. But even if it's not true to Tony4's career, I really hope that it's just good. You know, VV dropped this whole expansive challenge system where there was like over 700 challenges in addition to the goals that you had to do throughout every level. So look, if they're not doing the Tony4 Career that we all know and love, it starts to feel like this should have just been DLC. Like, I hate to be that guy, but if you're not bringing something new to the table and you're just following the formula of the old game and you're not really giving us anything new besides Skitching and Spacewalk, you're just giving us new levels and new skaters. And that, to me, that's just new content. Like, with the exception of create a goal and this hawk mode for online, like, I don't know. We don't know enough to say this should have been DLC or this should have been a new game, but it's sounding like it should have been DLC, but we're getting a new game and it's better than nothing. And at this point, I will take what I can get, because I was rating the top 12 Roblox games a few weeks ago and we're hurting out here. So anyway, that's my take. Also, the stream today went extremely well. I suited up. You guys thought I was bluffing, but me and Ricky both went hard in the paint. I had a 6-hour stream and we dissected everything. We compiled a document in the Discord and on Google Docs and got all this information together, and we reacted to everything in real time. There was like 900 viewers in my stream at one point, all just losing their minds. And today was a good day. Today was huge. I'd say today was like the biggest day for Tony fans since, like, I don't know, Tony 4. It's like the early 2000s again right now. And so we're stoked. Anyway, I'm excited. I think it's going to be good at the very least. It's running on the THPS 1 and 2 engine, so it's got to be as good as 1 and 2 was, right? And I thought 1 and 2 was really, really good. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. This is a long video. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around. Make sure you follow me on Twitch. Also join the Discord. There's a lot of discussion going on. People posting new relevant information that they're finding, little tidbits here and there, videos, gameplay, B-rolls. And it's just a cool place to hang out and get to know the community. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're not already subbed here, please do. And yeah, all the other stuff, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. It's all down there. Thanks again, y'all. Post a comment below. Tell me what you think. Are you stoked about what you saw today? Let me know. All right. Until next time. Bye.